What's up guys, we are finally making it around to testing out the last OP15 leader, going over Krieg real quick. Don X1 on the opponent's turn. If you only have East Blue type characters, give all of your opponent's characters minus 2k power. Active main once per turn, rest one of your opponent's characters with 2 or more given Don. Coming out of the gate when this got announced, I thought it was going to be absolutely busted, but I knew it was going to really depend on the support that came out with it, and it's kind of lacking a little bit. The games are fun, and it does feel very, like, combo-oriented, but sometimes you just miss a couple pieces. Jumping into the deck, we got 4 of the KO Protection 2k Kobe, 2 of the Pearl. This is literally just Lucky Roo, but for Don Krieg. We have 2 Alvita. I thought this card was a little bit better, but it's actually a little bit worse than I thought. I'm not sure why it's in the list. 4 Morgan. This is just a 5/6 blocker that moves Don. We have 4 Jean. This card is cool as fuck. Plays out one of your 5-cost characters. We got 4 of the Krieg himself. This card's also really good. Very strong generically, but also just incredible in this deck. We have 4 Django. This is the new East Blue Green Searcher. We have 4 of the 2k counter Meowbon brothers. This is pretty much just a 2k counter. We have 4 Arlong. This card is amazing. It's one of the best cards for the deck. It can move active Dawn, which is dope as fuck. We got 4 of the Mihawk 2k counter. This card's also pretty good. We got 3 of the Mihawk 2k counter. We have 4 of the Kuro. This blocker is amazing. It can just keep one of your opponent's characters rested if they have 3 or more Dawn that was attached. Very strong. We have 1 copy of Demonic or a 9-sword style Ashura Dead Man's Game. Just helps you rest 2 things. You know what it does. We have 2 copies of I Know You're Strong, so I'll go out from the start. 4 copies of The Outcome Will Tell Us Who's Strong and Who's Weak. 2 copies of It's an Order, Don't Defy Me, and then 2 copies of Luna. Let's jump into the game. Jumping right into the game, we are going to play off against a Blue Yellow Boa, opting to take second mostly just so we can steal curve away from them. Making them go first is very inconvenient. Their first turn, they're not going to be able to drop down a Hiyori or a Granny to swap their life out, so I think taking second away from them is good. I don't love this hand though. It's one of the first games that I'm playing with the deck, and I should have absolutely mulliganed, but we do decide to keep for some reason. Not really sure why. Kind of bad. So they are just gonna put the Dawn on their leader and pass to us. We are gonna Krieg event to search out a Django, and then we're gonna Django just to search out the Alvita. I don't love this. I think I should have grabbed Kobe instead just so we had a little bit more counter. We don't play the Alvita out at all. I think when I'm grabbing it, I misread it and thought it was a little bit better than it is. Maybe I thought that it had the same effect as Arlong, who could move active or rested on, but kind of just a big blunder. This is also what I meant when I said we stole first away from Boa so they couldn't granny us. They stole second away from them to put them on the odd curve. They would have done this on their turn had we gone first, and then our first swing would have went into triggering a body out. So we are just going to take this, finding a 2k counter, ironically the same Kobe. I would be tempted to play this out in some scenarios, but I don't think I'm that worried about Boa's like board removal. We are just going to kind of think it out here a little bit. We're going to pop the Django, putting the Dawn on the Granny, and then we're going to play the Mihawk to rest it. So the only reason we really did this was because we know Boa runs Snake Dance, and Snake Dance has to bounce a 2-cost or higher back to hand. So we want that removed for later. Also, I would like to build up a little bit more of a board before starting to swing into Boa's life. They are just going to hit us with the 5-cost Nami on curve, then swing 6, we'll give him the Kobe. Thankfully we found it off of life. Here we're kind of trying to decide what to do. We have 6 Dawn. I want to say we're just going to do a Morgans. I think that's probably the best option. We do trigger out the Ran. We knew there was going to be a trigger body. Not that big of a deal, but also not my favorite. So we're going to use Morgan. I don't think there's really a reason to do this outside of putting the Dawn on our leader and then being able to leave one active. We're going to swing another 5 with Mihawk. I don't necessarily care about them developing one more body. So the kind of ideal thing playing into Boa Hancock, they don't run a lot of significant sized like characters. Most of their characters are around the 5 or 6k base stat line. So right now the Ran is 3k power and the Nami is 4k power. Again, opponent really just utilizing his Dawn for his leader, which is fine for us. We have a bit of counter in hand, so we could block with the Morgan. I think our plan for the next turn is probably going to be to drop the Kuro to rest the Boa Hancock blocker. So we will give him the Krieg event. It's essentially a rad beam if your leader's Krieg. Pretty good, honestly. Kind of thinking about how we need to sequence our turn out, then we realize that Kuro counts the amount of Dawn at the end of the turn, so we are going to be able to rest the Boa, move another Dawn with the Morgans, put a Dawn on our leader. Going according to plan, we can swing in 5. Then we'll swing in 6 with our leader as well, leaving the Morgans active. And now we can search off of the Krieg search event, grabbing another 2k. In turn, Kuro keeps the Boa Hancock rested. The ideal thing is also Kuro and Morgans are both blockers, so we're walling up the same time. We're like kind of keeping their characters at a lower power or keeping them stunned. A secondary Boa blocker is kind of annoying, but it should be fine. We should be able to just move some Dawn onto it and get it rested anyway. But we do see that the opponent has a Shocky 2k, a Brick, and a Snake Dance. And the Snake Dance is literally the reason I KO'd the Granny earlier in the game. So opponent does have to put weird numbers of Dawn onto his characters to swing in, since they're reduced down to 3k right now. Nami's swinging a 5 with 1 Dawn attached, which is crazy. The Ran and the Gorgon sisters both have to have 2 Dawn attached to swing neutral. Just feels really good at the moment. We will give them an Alvito. We're kind of trying to take as many swings as we can, maybe keep the Mihawk alive. So they're going to swing in 8. We're just going to give them the 2k and the Kuro blocker. We assumed they were going to leave the Dawn active for the Snake Dance. Kind of thinking out what we want to do here, but it's most likely just going to be an 8 cost Krieg. We are hoping to maybe bait the blocker first. I don't think they're going to give it to us, but it doesn't matter because we can... Oh no, we're in a situation here. So the reason we didn't just slam the Krieg down is because they have the active Dawn. We actually cannot move the Dawn with Krieg. You can only move the Dawn with... You can only move an active Dawn with the 4-cost Arlong. So we will get the 2k out of their hand. We'll swing another 5. Really kind of trying to bait the blocker out if we could. Now we slam the Krieg down. Can't move the Dawn, doesn't really matter. But we will go... we should be going 8 into life here, or 9 into life here. Opponent's just going to play a Granny. Oh, sorry. Opponent plays a Margaret off of the Boa Hancock 9-cost trigger. They're gonna search out, ooh, another Boa Hancock just to trash it. That's funny. So they triggered a Boa Hancock, found a Boa Hancock, trashed the Boa Hancock. And now they do have an additional body, but it is a 3K, and they will just play over it with a Borsellino. Kind of really annoying here. Not a lot we can do about it, though. In chat, this is unneeded. So opponent just comes up super lucky, double Borsellinos here, goes back to 6 life, or oh my goodness, goes back to 3 life, really, really annoying, but we do thankfully know the last 2 cards in their hand from when they revealed it earlier. So we are going to play another Krieg, reduce the power of the Boa, then we're going to do more Don moving shenanigans. We'll do leader effect, resting one of the Boas. Then we're just going to start swinging out. It is risky. We are on a little bit of a clock just because they could chip away at our life. And, you know, they're pretty walled up right now. They're healthy, back at 3 life. So we're not in a terrible spot, but they could trigger a Quasar to bring a Borsellino back to heal again. There's just a lot of things that could happen that we kind of aren't stoked about. So we do know what's in their hand, but we are trying to just go for lethal here if possible. I don't think we can lethal, but we can at least clear most of their board, and we will pass here, leaving 1 up for the Know You're Strong counter event. Unfortunately, opponent is just a better player than us, and they double Borsellino us again this turn. Leaving their characters really weak, unfortunately for them. Also, if you take a look at their hand, they now have no counter and all bricks. So, or all bricks and no Dawn active, so they won't even be able to use the Snake Dance to bounce one of the Gorgon Sisters back. They will move Dawn around with both of their Gorgon Sisters since they have 3 Kuja Pirates. So this will be able to swing 5, this will be able to swing 5, and this will swing 7. Our plan is just to finish the game on the next turn. Realistically, since we know they have no counter in hand, we can just punch a bunch of times. We have more than enough like bodies to swing, and we can also move Dawn to rest one of their blockers. So we're going to go 5 here. We know they have no counter, so they either have to give us a block or they have to take it. Easy peasy. We'll go another 5, same situation. If they take it, we just move to a 7, so we get to swing a 6 here. They now potentially have 1 2K counter in hand, so we will swing a 7. The only thing that potentially like screws up our lethal here is if they trigger a Borsellino, or sorry, if they trigger a Quasar to bring a Borsellino back to heal. We don't necessarily have a way to play around that, and we are in a situation where we will lose on the next turn. So they're going to trigger out the Granny, swapping their last life. I'm very worried at this point that we're about to get Quasar'd. Waiting for them to decide here, which they would have had to have drawn the Quasar off of the Granny, but it's entirely possible. They do not trigger the Quasar, they trigger out a Ran, which is dope, because now we can just swing 10 on our Krieg for 19 and we win. Honestly, overall, I think Krieg is kind of maybe favored into Boa just because so many of their bodies are small, but they didn't see any Kumas. I think that could have drastically changed the game. Let's jump over into the deck breakdown though. Overall, honestly, I, I have to play a lot more games with this deck to really tune the ratios in, but I like Pearl a lot, and I would really like to run more copies of this. I think potentially I'll go all out could be just 2 more copies of Luna. This seems like it's going to be a really good card in the OP15 format. But that's pretty much going to be the video, guys. We're, calmly waiting for the Bandai ban list update that's dropping tomorrow at the time of recording. So I will catch you in stream when that happens. If you guys enjoyed the video, though, and you made it this far, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you later. Have a good one.